Hello again, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers and students. Welcome once again to the Writers Cafe. As we said last time, it is the aim of the Indian Creek Writers Cafe to create an atmosphere where wonderful writing can occur. We want to become creative, efficient, and imaginative writers who can read and write at the highest level. For today's session, we will be talking about the ELA test on the Georgia Milestones Assessment, Section 1. So this will be the first day we have of testing, and we're going to talk more so about the extended writing response. Last time we talked about the constructed responses and the larger constructed response in terms of narrative writing. So today we are going to talk about the extended writing response piece in ELA Section 1. So as you can see in our end of grade assessment design, the extended writing response items are worth 7 points. And you can see it on each of these tables for 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. This is a single written response question, and we'll talk more in detail as to what it will look like. So on day 1 of the Georgia Milestones ELA portion of the test, you will get to read 2 paired reading passages. These passages are only going to be informational and or opinion pieces. This is not a narrative response. It is an only response to informational or opinion writing. The test length will be approximately 90 minutes. For students who receive additional time, it can be up to 135 minutes, so it might take you up to a little over 2 hours to complete this part of the test. Most students will take about an hour and a half. You will be asked during this part of the test to answer a few select response or multiple choice questions about the passages showing that you know what you read. After you answer those multiple choice questions, you will write an informational piece or an opinion piece essay using information from both passages to support your writing. And it is very important that you know you will be using both passages to support your writing. So as you take the test, you will find on your test, whether it's informational or opinion writing, you will find a writer's checklist. And these checklists give you an idea as to what you are supposed to do. They are based upon your 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade writing standards. So these are things that your teachers should have been teaching you over the course of the year in terms of your writing lessons. Many of your teachers have probably told you how to race when it comes to writing. And this is a good strategy, even if you don't use it. Just to share with you really quickly, if you are racing while you are writing, the R in race means to restate. That means you turn the question or prompt into a statement. Use the words from the question or prompt to begin your answer. A is for answer. Answer the question or prompt. Sometimes this is an inference and sometimes it's stated directly in the text, but it is very important that you are answering the question and not just writing about what you're feeling or what you're thinking about. It is very important that you are answering the question after you have restated it. Now, the part how to write for the test, textual evidence. C stands for cite evidence, and all of your teachers should teach you in your writing how to cite evidence from text that supports your answer. Here are a few sentence starters that you might use when you are responding in this way. You might say the author states, or for example, according to the title of the text, whatever the passage was called, according to the text, it said this. The article points out that. In paragraph 3, all right, paragraph 2, whatever, the text states. So this shows us that you know you are citing evidence from what you have read in the passages. And E stands for explain. In your own words, explain the evidence, how the evidence supports your answer. All right, so you might use the following sentence starters. As a result, this shows that, this shows, this is because, so on and so on. So those are different things. If you are going to use a direct quote, meaning you're going to use exactly what the author wrote, you have to put that quote or that sentence that you use in quotation marks. Okay, an indirect quote means that you are paraphrasing what the author has said with no quotation marks. So we know that you cannot just copy what the author says, but if you do want to use a sentence or a phrase because it sounds good or you think it would support your writing, then put those quotes in quotation marks. And I have seen many students in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade who are very good at this. So this leads us to part 2 of our Writer's Cafe. Last time we did part 1, which was called Nicely Narrative. Part 2 is called Incredibly Informational. That means we are talking about informational writing on this particular session in the Writer's Cafe. So part 2, Incredibly Informational. Sample informational writing task. So this is an example of what you would see if you were to have a informational writing task on your milestone test. And here's just an example. It says scientists have different ways of learning new information. Think about ideas in both passages. Then write an informational piece about how some scientists and citizen naturalists answer questions and solve problems. Be sure to use information from both passages in your informational piece. So this right away, this writing task lets me know that I'm going to write an informational piece, meaning I'm explaining something. All right, and this is assuming that we've read the passages, and you can see these passages talk about scientists and citizen naturalists. Even if you don't know where those are, when you read the passages, you will learn about them. So the intro at the bottom, I'm not going to read, but this is an example of how you might start this written response. All right, so of course, when it comes to anything we want our students to do well, it's important that we have a rubric because we want you to know and the teachers to know how you will be graded on the test. So it's important that we know what the rubric states. All right. So again, for informational writing, there's a total of possible points of 7 points. All right. Total possible points of 7 points. And you get your points from the first area is idea development, organization, and coherence. That means that you take what they're asking you to do in the writing task and you put your ideas into it and you organize it well and it makes sense. If you do that very well, you can get up to 4 points for this part of the writing. The other 3 points out of the 7 points comes from language usage and conventions. That means, of course, that you have to use great sentences. You have to have good spelling, punctuation, things of that nature, grammar, all those different things, and making sure that they do not interfere with your meaning. So 4 points comes from your ideas and your organization and making sense or coherence, and 3 points comes from your language usage and conventions. How would you get 0 points? The only way to get 0 points on either of these parts for idea development is if you leave it blank, you copied it exactly as they wrote it. Either you copied the writing task or you copied what the authors wrote, and those are the ways that you get 0 points, as well as being just a very short response. This is expected to be multiple paragraphs in your response, so it's not going to be just a very short 1 or 2 sentence response at all for this part of the test. The language usage and conventions get 0. Again, if you leave it blank, copied, it's very limited, or you're not writing in English, or you're off topic or off task. So that's the way that you would get 0 points on either parts of those scoring parts of the rubric. All right. So one of the things I would teach students to do, of course, is to plan. All right, and many of your teachers probably teach you how to plan for writing. They probably use graphic organizers such as these. Now, when you get to the writing part of the milestone test, you're not going to have these things, but if your teachers taught you a strategy to quickly plan something out, I would highly suggest you not spend more than maybe 5 minutes to plan what you are going to write. You should not spend a long period of time because your planning is not going to be graded. The only thing that will be graded is your final writing. So you, as 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, need to learn how to plan very quick. All right. So this is an example of how you could sound smart in your writing. Okay, for expository essays, which are informational, it's important that you have an introduction that hooks the reader, captures their attention. All right, it contains the topic sentence. Remember with race, I said to restate the question. This is going to be in your introduction. The body of the paper or what you're writing is going to have probably three fully developed paragraphs. Each paragraph is going to talk about a different topic. So in the introduction, you kind of say what you're going to talk about in the body part. And you're going to have supporting details in here and the reasons why you said this. You're going to have transition words and all that. And then you're going to finally have a conclusion. So again, here's some phrases on the right side here that show that you are citing the text when you are writing your response. You would again say the author wrote, the author stated, according to the text. In paragraph number 3, it said, so on and so on. So these are ways to sound smart in your writing. So today, when you begin your informational writing activities, your teacher for 3rd grade, you're going to have these two passages. The first one is called The Story of Money, and the second one is called Make Your Money Work for You. All right, the extended writing response is below in the box there, and the checklist that you will see on your writing activity is on the right side. That is your writing checklist, so you have an idea of what you are supposed to do during this task. For 4th grade, you're going to have the two passages. The first is called The Age of Silent Film, and the second passage is called The Folly Artist. The passage or the writing prompt is in the box there. That's what you're going to have to write about. And the right side has the writer's checklist. Again, when your teachers give you your writing activity, this will be included on it. And finally, for 5th grade, your two passages will be a schoolyard butterfly garden, and the second passage will be a 3 sisters garden in the school. And again, your writing prompt is in the box there. That's what you will see. And then your writer's checklist is on the top right-hand side. So these are the passages that you will use for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. We hope that you do some incredibly informational writing and have a great time on our second day of the Writers Cafe. Thank you.